Yo! Alright, so this video is for level 220 boss mules, but it's very important to keep in mind 3 things. So the first part of this video is going to be about explaining the conditions of this tier list, like what am I factoring into each class, the mobbing, the bossing, the funding, the difficulty to play, all that stuff. The second part of the video is the tier list discussion itself, which is the big part, with footage and numbers and stuff like that for all the classes. And the final third part of the video is the post discussion, where we do move some stuff around. So if you're watching the video and you just skip to your class, it might change by the end of the video. So please watch the post tier list discussion as well and see where it landed at the absolute end. But I hope you enjoy the video. It took a lot of work, and thank you for everybody who helped me with it as well. And I'll see you. All right, so this is a tier list for level 220 boss mules after New Age. Now, the thing is, a lot of things have actually changed since New Age. And the most important thing to mention is you actually have a lot more node slots at level 220. So previously at level 220, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 node slots. But now when you're level 220, you have 11 node slots, and you could buy 2 more. So you could have 13 if you really need the node slots. But the fact that you have 2 more node slots right off the bat is actually huge, because having the ability to use more of your class's kit and having more of your class's capabilities early on actually is an insane amount of damage increase. So overall, boss mules are a lot stronger now than they were pre-New Age. Also, on top of that, the formula works different for how much damage you lose and gain for mobs now. So previously, before New Age, it used to be that if you were the same exact level as the mob or boss that you're hitting, you would not get any bonus damage. So Lomian is level 210. So before at level 220, you would get an extra 20% FD, right? But now if you're at level 220, you still get the bonus 20% FD. But what's good about it is that you don't necessarily even need to be 220 for boss mules anymore anyways. We're still going to do 220 since level 220 is still really easy to get. You get the node slots, and you get the third symbol, which helps you get stronger. You don't necessarily have to be level 220 to have really good boss mules now. You could do level 215 and it'll be just as strong as level 220 before New Age. You could even do level 210. If you have level 210, you'll still have a good amount of node slots, and you still get 10% bonus final damage on Lomian, which is a lot of extra damage. But like I said, we're still going to stay 220. So that's the 2 most important things. Damage buff has changed, and amount of node slots you have has also changed. Actually, there's one more change. But because of those 2 changes, boss mules have actually changed quite a bit, and a lot of classes that weren't necessarily like, you know, top tier are actually a lot better now. There's actually one more change that affects some boss mules. Not everybody's going to run into this, but it is very important to mention, and it's the Oz rings. So Lomian and Akechi, and if you do End Slime, so those bosses have a chance of giving you an Oz ring up to, the best thing would be like a Roar 3, a Weapon Jump 3, or a Continuous 3. And for certain classes, that actually makes a big difference. So where the chance of that happening is very, very low, but if it does happen, your boss mule can actually be way stronger. So we're going to factor that into the rankings, but it's not going to be like a huge factor into the rankings. But it is definitely worth mentioning. So with that being said, I guess let's start with AB. Actually, maybe we should name the tier something else. Most of the classes are going to be over here and higher pretty much, because there's not really any bad boss mules necessarily. Oh, another thing that we're going to also mention is the node cost. So I have this handy dandy spreadsheet that shows me how many boostable nodes each class has. The Hayato one is not up to date, but everything else is pretty good. Hayato is actually at 10 now, not 23, so it would be over here. And this is very important as well for funding a boss mule, is how many nodes the class needs to actually like perform properly. So we're going to be referring to this a lot. We're going to be using actual data. At the end of the day, this is my opinion. I just want to point that out. I have made a ton of boss mules in my life. I've funded boss mules. I've played so many. So I think I have a pretty good understanding of how these boss mules perform. So let's start with Angelic Buster. I actually did make this tier list. So if anybody wants to make this tier list, all you have to do is go to the website and search Duky, and it's the only thing that shows up. So there you go. All right, the first one is Angelic Buster. So funny thing is, I actually did use the Angelic Buster boss mule back in the day. Real ones remember. This is like way back in the day. But Angelic Buster is getting reworked soon. But we're going to talk about Angelic Buster right now. In the rework, it could be better. It probably will be better. But for now, that doesn't matter. So if we check this, It says Angelic Buster has 12. So 12 is kind of on like a little bit on the higher end. But it's like not too terrible, right? Now, but having experience with Angelic Buster, a lot of the trios you actually don't even need it. So if you look at the perfect trios, it'll say like Soul Resonance or Finale Ribbon. Like those skills, like they really don't do that much damage. If you really just want to go on a budget, all you really need is Trinity, Soul Seeker, and Celestial Roar for mobbing. Like that's really all you need, those three. Like if you just hit that trio, like you're pretty much good for the boss meal. So you don't necessarily need like the perfect trios on this class. It's one of those classes where you don't need like the absolute perfect trio for it to perform. So yeah. The other thing with AB though is it does need attack speed inner. So actually another thing that I forgot to mention is how easy it is to train and how much funding it requires are also going to be factored into this tier list. So AB has one of the hardest inners to get. You need attack speed, crit, and boss. That's like the ideal inner on AB. Any class that needs attack speed is automatically harder to fund because attack speed is hard to hit, so you're going to spend more muscles funding it. You can obviously perform without attack speed, but you know, it's not optimal. It's not optimal. You would rather play something that doesn't need the attack speed inner for it to perform the best. AB has a really good kit though. It has good 2-minute burst. 2-minute burst is preferred with a boss meal, so you could use your cooldowns more often. It does have super stance. It does have 2 iframes. Its damage isn't too bad. It's obviously not the highest damage in the world, but it's not too bad. If it were me, I would probably put AB in Gets Job Done. It's not a bad boss meal at all. Its training is good. Its funding is a little higher than most classes, but its damage isn't too high, and the higher funding requirement, especially with the nodes, this class requires some setup. Yeah, even the burst does require a little bit of setup with the dragon, but it's not too bad. They made it a lot easier, but the AB definitely gets the job done. Having own built-in AB link is nice. Obviously AB link is getting buffed as well to have a 1-minute cooldown, so it is going to get even stronger. But yeah, so I think AB definitely gets the job done. In my opinion, anything that gets job done or higher is definitely like a fine boss meal to make. Anything lower than that isn't that crazy. The other thing about AB is the ideal ring for it would be like a continuous ring. I want to mention that. If you have roar and like weapon jump or whatever, weapon jump actually isn't that good for boss meals since you're running at best an Absol weapon, and weapon jump scales with your weapons attack. Absol weapons don't have that much. The AB Absol Claw, I believe it has the same attack as the Katana. Katana has 79 attack for Absol. I think AB's Claw, Soul Shooter is the same. 79 attack, so it's not that much. So ideally you'd want a roar or a continuous ring, which would make it like okay, I guess, but it's whatever. This is just at level 220, like pretty average, like low mean funding, maybe between like 10 to 14k stat or something like that. Maybe like level 15 nodes or some shit like that. I don't know. Really like normal funding for most people. All right, so Adele. Moving on to Adele. Adele is a 90-second class, but mostly a 3-minute class. Its DPS isn't that bad despite having a big burst. The thing with Adele is it's a class that definitely would benefit from Oz Ring, so that's a bonus for Adele. It could go either Roar or Continuous if you do happen to get it. Adele's nodes, so let's check real quick. I'm pretty sure Adele isn't that bad. Adele's at 10. 10 or lower is really like pretty good. The thing with Adele though is that you really do need to hit the perfect trios. Like it's not one of those classes that you could just get away with like Cleave, Hunting Decree, or Rain of Destruction. No, you need like Bloom, Dispatch, Aether Forge. Like you need both sets. So that's the other thing with Adele is its node requirement is pretty average. It's not low, it's not high, but you definitely need both sets because its nodes boost very good skills. Adele, in my opinion, I actually have played this class quite extensively. This is one of those classes that a lot of people, when they make it as a boss meal, they actually don't think it's that good, but they just don't know how to play Adele. So usually with boss mules, people don't really spend that much time learning the class, so that kind of goes against Adele. because Adele is one of those classes that you definitely need to spend some time learning it. You need to you don't just want to mash your swords. You don't want to just hold down cleave and do nothing. You want to hit your blooms. Adele also benefits from cooldown hat, where so you're gonna have to spend a little bit of money on that. But its inner ability is also really good though. You can either go boss or CD skip, whichever you hit first, I guess. So that's a benefit. You don't have to spend that much on inner. Adele's damage is pretty good too. Like if you know how to play it properly, it is pretty good. Rain of Destruction, Shardbreaker, Aether Bloom, those are pretty short cooldowns. So they're really, really good for running through the little baby bosses. And then the big ones, you have like very strong big cooldowns like your Infinity Blade and your Ruin. So it has options for both, which I like a lot. Adele also, if you complete the story, you get your float and you get your 10% attack buff, which is really, really good for Damien, because if Damien's in the air, this class can hit Damien the entire time. So that is a bonus. It doesn't really have that good of an iframe, so it definitely has a learning curve. So I'm going to put this class in Poggy. It's definitely not free. There is a learning curve. So that's going to be kind of a turnoff for a lot of people. But if you know how to play this class, it definitely performs pretty well. It definitely performs pretty well as a boss meal. Whack. No, this class is not whack. You're wrong, bro. Okay, so next class is Aran. Now, Aran is actually very, very strong. This is a very strong class. If we check the nodes, it's one of the higher ones at 13, which isn't a good thing. It's not a good thing. That is a detriment to this class. It is one of the higher node cost classes. But Aran is very strong, though. It is very, very strong. It also has Perm Super Stance, which helps with things like Lotus and like Magnus Spin, random shit like that. But the node cost is high, so you got to keep that in mind. Node cost is very, very good. Training on Aran isn't that bad either. It's not the best class in the world to train with. Oh, I should have mentioned that with Adele. Adele is fine to train with, to be honest with you. But Aran, I mean, Aran gets the job done with training. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to get to 220 anyways. Nowadays, like, you barely even need to train to 220. You could just, like, potion your way there a lot of the time. Aran has huge burst damage with Hunter's Prey. So there's that. If you miss your Hunter's Prey, I mean, it's honestly just, like, user error. But I've seen it happen, which is pretty funny. I'm trying to think between Poggy and gets job done, though. That's the thing. Like, because Aran's damage is really high, but its thunder requirement is also kind of high. So, like, I don't know how much I would recommend it. Like, if you really like Aran and you want to go through with it, you're going to get results. Like, it's a strong class. It has good cooldowns. And it's fun to play, too. But it's harder to play than a lot of classes. The funding requirement is higher than most classes. And then even with Ozring, like, I don't know. It's a tough one, bro. Yeah, the movement and survivability is good, though. But the thing is, you're on Aran main, though. That's the difference. You need to think with boss mule perspective. Boss mule perspective for the average person. They're not going to put that much time learning the class. They're not going to fund it that hard. Yeah, I think it's just going to get the job done, in my opinion. So, Arc. We're going to move on to Arc. Now, the thing with Arc, I actually happen to be an Arc expert. I don't know if you guys know this. I actually happen to be an Arc expert. I actually happen to be, like, quite the Arc player myself. Okay, so let's get this right off the bat. Arc is one of the harder classes to play if you're playing it properly. If you're playing it properly, it's one of the hardest classes to play. Harder classes to play. You have a lot of buffs to upkeep. You have a lot of comboing you have to do. But if you do know how to do it, the damage is really good. They buffed this class quite a bit, so the damage is really good. It's a 2-minute class, so it has a lot of short cooldown burst. So that's definitely in its favor. The thing about Arc, though, which is a positive and a negative thing, is its nodes. So Arc doesn't have a lot of nodes. It only has 8. But you kind of need to boost like everything though. So a lot of arcs will run like 3 sets of trios. So in my opinion, as somebody who actually plays the class, you don't actually have to run all the trios. Like you don't necessarily have to boost the diagonal dash, for example, or you don't necessarily have to boost like abyssal charge for another example. So it's like not that necessary to do that. So I think it's fine in terms of nodes. But Arc is one of those classes that its main burst, infinity spell, I believe its duration goes up based off of the level that the skill is. So you are highly encouraged to level up infinity spell really high, which means that it has a higher node cost. It's not like Adele's Infinity Blade, for example, where even if it's level 1 or level 30, the duration is the same. It lasts 30 seconds regardless. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like if you're going to fun Arc, like you need to level up your Infinity spell or else it's not going to feel that good to play. Arc is really strong though. The cooldowns are there. It has really good mobility. It has really good iframes. It has really good burst. I think I'm going to put it in Poggy. It's definitely like one of the lower tier Poggy ones just because its funding requirement is higher than a lot of classes. So, yeah, but keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay. Hey, bro, anybody who thinks, oh, nah, like, you're just not up to date, bro. Like, Arc is actually very strong. It is very, very strong now. Battle Mage. All right, let's think with Battle Mage. So Battle Mage has a mini burst and has a big burst. It's a 3-minute class. Its DPS isn't that crazy. Arc dogshit class? I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm sorry. You just don't play Arc. Battle Mage resistance class are strong. Avoid till update. Guys, what is this like resistance rework like thought that's floating around, bro? Like the EU does play Arc. I mean, I'm trolling. I ain't recommending classes with any learning curve whatsoever to a general player. I ain't gonna cap. The thing is though with Arc is even if you don't want to learn the comboing, you can still get a lot of its damage off just by holding your main attack. Even if you don't want to learn the comboing, like you could still get a majority of your damage off just by holding it. Like you don't have to play it min-max. But if you do want to learn how to play it, then you will get rewarded. Like it doesn't matter. Like that's the thing. I'm thinking more in terms of how much damage does the class do, and what are the cooldowns like? What's the funding like? Stuff like that. At the end of the day, you're not going to be an Arc Master if you have it as a boss mule. Of course, like you're not going to be an Arc Master, but you will learn something at some point. You will. You're not going to just sit there and not learn anything. So. Well, I don't think Adele needs to be dropped down a tier. I don't think so. Like just one example, though. I meant more in general because people are going to look at this tier and be like, yo, this is really annoying to play. I mean, to be honest with you, like, is it really my job to tell people, or is it really my job to, like, worry about the people who just skip to the end and look at it? Like, no, watch the video. Listen to what I'm saying. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? At the end of the day, people are always going to have something to say. It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to, like, argue over like every single little thing that every single person's gonna go through. Like this is like these are recommendations. Anyways, Battle Mage. Let's focus on BM or BAM. Yeah, Battle Mage's DPS isn't what it used to be. It's not that good. All the classes are stronger in terms of DPS. If we look at Battle Mage's nodes, am I blind? It's at 10. 10 is pretty good. Anything 10 or less, like I said, it's pretty good. So its nodes aren't that bad in terms of like funding. So that's not bad. But Battle Mage, it has really good training. So there's that as a benefit as well. But its damage just isn't there. Like you're going to need to often wait for at least your mini burst to clear a lot of these bosses. So here, I'll link it. It's just like this screenshot. But yeah. The other thing with Battle Mage is Oh my god, I actually forgot to mention this too. What a lot of people don't have AK Legion, so I'm trying to keep that in mind as well. 'Cause a lot of people making boss mules, like they might be lacking at Legion too. So like things like if a class is like an ID debuff or something like that, like makes the class a little bit more valuable for like general people. Like for example, like Arc has an ID debuff, Adele has an ID debuff, stuff like that. Yeah, but the thing with Explorer Mages is a lot of people have low legions and they need the buff duration, right? So it's not gonna be as good. But yeah, anyways, I think with Battle Mage is I'm debating gets job done and not so good, because I feel like if you really want to play Battle Mage, yeah, it'll get the job done, but its damage is too low off burst to really like. Actually, no, I'm gonna put not so good, because these two are definitely better than Battle Mage. I'm gonna put a not so good. Like it's okay, but it's not like that crazy. Okay, so Bishop. The thing with Bishop is Bishop kind of can go both ways. So I understand on one side that Bishop, you know, you need buff duration, right? Because of Infinity. But on the other side is Bishop has a lot of ID and it has a lot of crit rate built in, right? But the thing with Bishop is it really needs the int to scale, because a lot of its things scale with int. A lot of its skills scale with int. And like I said, with the buff duration, you need it for Infinity. So it's not that good early on. The Bishop nodes are very, very good though. Bishop has one of the easiest nodes in the game, 8. So it's very easy to fund in terms of nodes. But you actually need gear on this class. You need like stat and stuff like that. So it's just not going to perform that good at this bracket. If you were 260 or something like that, it's completely different. That's the stat would be Giga SS tier. Yeah, it's true. So unfortunately, like with Bishop, I would definitely not recommend it as a 220 boss mule just till Lomian. It's not that good till Lomian. So, but it's not. I don't think it's quite whack though. Like, because BT's like legit. Like this shit's like, yo, this shit's gonna get deleted, bro. I don't know. It's one or the other. Either way, just don't play it, bro. Don't play it at this level range. Don't play it. It's not worth it. Even with the extra node slots, like, it doesn't even change anything. Even if you hit weapon jump, it doesn't even change anything. Like, what are you going to use, an Absol staff? Like, it doesn't even change anything. Even if you have Avenger, you're going to go from, like, 12k stat to, like, 14? Like, it doesn't matter, bro. It literally doesn't matter. So, is it going every other way, though? Easy nodes, easy crit, doesn't need ID, etc. Yeah. No, yeah. Bishop is... That's why I wanted to mention both sides. Like, Bishop has a lot of good things to it, but the things that are weighing it down, it's too much at this level range. Like, Bishop really shines when you're really high Legion, when you have good gear. That's when it's so good. But early game, even as a main early game, even if it's your main, like, it's not as good early game. So, like, Bishop is one of those, like, later game classes that just, it, like, exponentially gets so much stronger. I'm just gonna keep it here for now, for the time being. We could always rearrange things in the future. Yeah, I agree. I think Battle Mage is better. So, I don't know, I'm just gonna put it. That's fine. We'll put it down here. That's whack, bro. Don't do Bishop. All right, Blade Master. So Blade Master is really good as a boss mule. Let's look at the nodes real quick. So Dual Blade's at 15, but the thing with Dual Blade is you need to keep in mind that you can separate the nodes, right? Like, you don't necessarily need everything, right? Like, you don't need to boost Sudden Raid, for example. You don't need to boost Blade Ascension, for example, right? You don't need everything. So, like, you can, like, even though it says 15, like, you could cut corners on this class and you'll still be able to perform. They didn't even call it DB. Homie, what full government name with it? I did, bro. I did. Bro, but you don't need -4, though. Like, you could get -2 on the hat and still be really good. Now, the other thing about DB, though, is you do benefit from having high-level NATO and high-level Blades of Destiny. like, because that is a lot of your damage, right? But at the same time, you actually have a useless V skill, so you save a lot of your nodes. You don't even need to do anything with Haunted Edge. Like, you could just save nodes by not even using it. Like, this class basically only has 3 V skills, so there's that. You don't have to max Shadow Walker though. You don't have to max Shadow Walker. Shadow Walker is really good for this class, but you don't need to max it. Maxing it is very, very expensive. Don't max that shit. Just take the L and wait for Shadow Walker to come up for your burst. Like, that's fine. So there's that. But so DB is the first class that I'm like, I'm not gonna put it in so free. I'm gonna put it at the top of Poggy though, because it's good, but it's not like, it's not so free. Like, the so free classes are like surefire. Like, when you think of the boss mule, like, it's so brain dead, it's so free. Like, I don't know. Was it for the node cost? It would be so free for real. The thing is that the node cost is it's higher, but not too high. Maybe 3 classes that compete with DB. Yeah, I'm teetering on the edge of both so free and Poggy. I've had a DB boss mule, so like, I know how it is, and it is really good. It is really good. Like, it's definitely the best one here so far. Like, DB definitely is the best one out of all of them here so far, like, without a doubt. Like, it has the ID built in. You can get the crit rate from you get the crit rate from meld, right? What's it called? Shadow meld or something like that. Is that what gives a crit rate? I think so, right? Yeah. So you could get that. Oh, this is a tough one, bro. I know the skills have any idea. I know they do. This is a tough one though. Low tier so free. IMO. ID means you don't need to queue for IDWC, so it's a low tier free. Yeah, I know that. It's just like, I'm trying to think of the differences between BT and the for sure so free classes in my head. Like, that's what I'm trying to think of right now. If you get stunned, it'll stop your Tempest. The thing is though, a lot of times the DB's bursting, you're in dark side though. So like, it's not like a truck will fall on your head or something like that. It does have 2 good iframes. One of them, sudden, or what's it called? Final cut. I mean, you're not gonna really use Final Cut as an iframe though. Like, it's really just a buff. You really use chains as the iframe. Yeah, there's the classes that I would put above the V. I'm gonna keep it in Poggy for now. All right, let's move on to Blaster. So Blaster is one of the classes that I recently got more educated on. Actually, I was working on my Blaster boss mule. The Blaster nodes are where is it? Blaster nodes are at 12, but personally I had quite some trouble getting the nodes, but I think that's just me. And especially if you do a mixed combo, you'll probably hit it. But Blaster nodes are like a little bit on the tougher end, but it's not that big of a deal. But Blaster has very good V skills. That's the thing. Like, Blaster actually pumps out a lot of numbers. Like, it does a lot of damage. It really does. But the learning curve is very high for the average player. If they're not gonna want to spend time learning it, like, usually when people do boss moves, they want to log on and they want to do their boss and they want to log off. They're not trying to min max or do all these things. Now, granted, they have made Blaster easier, right? Like, it's not as hard as it used to be. They added like quality of life stuff to it, and its damage is good, and it is 2 minute. It has 2 minute burst, so it has short cooldown, and it's very consistent damage. But yeah, the training isn't good for this shit either. The training is not good for this shit either. So if you're gonna train it to 220, It is not. You're not gonna have a good time. Ah, Blaster. It is not good. So Blaster, I've been thinking in between these two tiers because, yeah, I'm probably gonna put it in not so good. Training is too difficult for most people. You don't want to like think about this stuff when you're training a boss mule. Learning curve is too high for most people, and the nodes aren't too amazing on this. So that's true, Shagad, but you know how to play the glass. That's a big difference. That's a big, big difference. All right, Blaze Wizard. So a lot of people like to make fun of Blaze Wizard. This class is actually really good. It's actually like pretty good. Now its damage still isn't like crazy high, right? Its nodes are fine. It's a 10 cost class, but it, a lot of its damage just comes from Infernal Sphere. So like you can just really like play it and max Infernal Sphere, and like you don't really have to like level the other nodes that much because most of your damage is from like that and your little orbitals from your trios. This shit is whack, bro. Shut up, bro. Now, the nice thing about Infernal Sphere, though, is my favorite word. It's a modular burst. Meaning you could do all 10 on one boss and do a lot of damage, or you could just hold it down for like two casts and move on to the next boss, and you have it again. So it's very convenient with that way. You could actually hit the boss, like Damien, for example, in the air the whole time. So that's very convenient as well. It has really high uptime. Yeah, Bishop does have modular burst too, but Bishop is too dependent on its stats for damage, whereas this class isn't. So there's that. So Blazers does have that in its advantage. Blazers' training is also very easy. That's another thing that's advantageous of this. It's very, very easy. I'm trying to think what's really wrong with Blazer. I guess its damage just isn't like super high. Does training even matter? Yes, it does matter. It does matter, yes. Because not everybody's just gonna, oh, you're all doing storage 220 anyways. Yeah, because storage is gonna be around forever. Yeah, because storage is gonna be around forever. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, training, of course, training matters. Like, of course it does. Of course it matters, bro. No, training still matters. Of course, I'm not oblivious to getting potions and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have to train at least to 210 or 216 and you potion to 220 or something like that. There's no situation where you're really not training at all. No, you're still going to have to train. Even if you're training for like a total of like 6 to 8 hours or something like that. Like, or even let's say 4 hours. It's still 4 hours of your time, and like you need to factor that in. Anyways, it also has a very short cooldown hyper skill that does quite a lot of damage. It's kind of like Ark's hyper skill. They're similar. I'm actually gonna put this in Poggy, bro. I ain't even gonna cap, bro. I ain't even gonna cap. I don't think Blazer is that bad of a boss skill. Like, I think it actually like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I ain't even gonna cap, bro. So BowMaster. Now, the thing with BowMaster is, first of all, BowMaster has very, very easy nodes. It's at 10. 10's one of the easier ones. And since it has built-in Sharp Eyes, you don't even have to use Sharp Eyes. Also, it's a V skill, the bird one. Like, you don't even have to level that one at all. So, like, there's that. And the other three all share the same cooldown. So everything lines up very, very easily. It lines up very, very easily. BowMaster's damage off burst isn't too high, but it's still pretty good. It also is it's a Hurricane class, so it doesn't need attack speed inner. It doesn't need speed infusion. So you could just run your you can literally just run your your V skills that do damage, and that's it. Like, you don't even have to like worry about all these like extra skills. BowMaster's training is, I want to say it's easy, but it's not hard either. It's just like standard training. You can put your summons down, you rotate your cooldowns, you rotate your speed. I heard it was called speed something, and then the rain. You just rotate those two skills, and then you put your arrow platter down. Inhumane speed. Inhumane speed. Yeah, platter lasts longer now too. Yeah. This class also is very noob friendly with your silhouette mirage, which basically is like 2 dummies that like tank damage for you. Something that does, I believe, over 50% damage. It'll just tank the damage for you and not and you won't have to worry about it. And I believe the cooldown is very short. It's like around a minute for it to come back up. Yeah, I honestly think BowMaster is so free. Like, this is a very highly recommended boss mule. Even if you're overfunded for the bosses, you could just rotate your V skills. You don't have to stack all of them at once. So there's that. It also has armor break, which is pretty good for IED. This is a very, very free boss mule. Has no problems with crit rate either. Has good movement with the teleport and the boop 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 boop. You guys know what I'm talking about when you go up in there and boop 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 boop. I forgot what it's called. The backstep floaty thing. Boop 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 boop. you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think BowMaster is definitely so free, like 100%. 100%. Okay, so next class is, yeah, covering fire. Yeah, next class is Buccaneer. Buccaneer right away definitely is so free. This class is actually crazy. Like, it's crazy. Its nodes are very, very, very easy. It's only 8, so it's very, very easy to get buck nodes. And its V skills are all so strong. Lightning Form, Howling Fist, Lure of the Deep, Serpent Vortex. They're all very, very, very useful skills. Literally, like, half your damage from the Lure of the Deep is automatic. Like, you don't even have to think about it. You legit don't even have to think about it. Like it just does damage for you. Like, legit, like I don't know, bro. And then you have your, yes, of course, you have your free crit rate, so you don't have to worry about that. You have your what's it called? I'm so stupid. You have your defense form. You have your defense form that makes you pretty much unkillable. And the thing about defense form is it's really good in these like early baby bosses that just like do like chip damage and like chunk you for a little. Nothing like that does like, you know, a big percentage of damage, right? Like, these baby bosses are very easy. They're very easy for stuff like that. Buck also isn't hard to play, right? Like, you could get the job done. There is very advanced Buck tech that will allow you to min-max, but for the most part, Buck is quick to pick up and you can perform with it really, really easily. So I think Buck is definitely so free. The cooldowns are short. You could benefit from literally any of the Oz rings too if you happen to get them. And there's no dimension where this class isn't free. Like, it's very, very free. Moving in front of BM, sure, I'll picky. Cadena. Okay, so Cadena, let's talk about the good things about Cadena. So Cadena is very strong. It does a lot of damage. It has good survivability now because of the shield and the dark sight, right? So the damage is good. There's that. The Cadena nodes, the thing with Cadena nodes though, is
A little bit.
wait, where is it? It's an 8, so it's easy to get the trios because almost every single node that you open is something you need to boost, right? So there's that. But you're going to need more node slots, and good thing we have more node slots nowadays. It is that last resort class, so you got to keep that in mind. Last resort makes you a little bit more squishy, but it gives you a lot of damage. But the big downside to Cadena is it has two big downsides. Is its training is okay, but it's not that crazy. And the other thing is you need to practice. This class definitely needs practice. Like, it's not one of those classes that you're going to pick up and go and perform on. You're definitely going to need practice on this, like 100%. So that's like something you definitely need to know. I love placing down a summon every 5 seconds. I heard you make a Cadena boss field. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a Cadena boss field because I'm sick in the head like that. So, dude, this is like, I think Cadena is not so good, bro. Definitely not so good. Like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it at 220. Like, obviously, if you fund it and stuff like that, you're probably gonna kill the bosses and all that. But, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it though. You'd play Cadena over Bishop? I would. Yeah, I definitely would. I would. Personally, I would. I would. Low-key, I play Bishop even though that class is like, you are sick in the head. Dude, the thing is, like, wait, sorry, why wouldn't you rank it higher? I missed it. I think the learning curve is too high and the training is too annoying. Those two things are not, those two are not appealing for new players, in my opinion. Yeah. Why these blazers are good? You're gonna have to go back. I'm not gonna go back and talk about every single class. We already talked about it. CM. Okay, so CM. I actually happen to be a Cannon Master expert here. I actually happen to be a Cannon Master expert. You know, if you know, you know. So the thing about Cannon Master is, I remember having to sweat my ass off, bro. Sweat my ass off just to, like, barely kill these bosses, bro. Like, I remember having to, like, oh my god, bro. Like, not only do you have to be, like, not only does it have to be strong, you also really have to know how to play CM, right? Like, you really have to know how to play CM. Everything from making sure your bullets get all the procs, leading the boss to a certain direction, picking up your treasure boxes, like, making sure you rolled the right monkey, like, make sure you upkeep your summons, like, stuff like that. Like, yeah, attack speed in there, so it needs more funding, like, all that stuff. It's just like, you know, it's just so much work for no damage. Like, it's so much work for such little damage. Like, it's crazy. So I honestly wouldn't recommend Cannon Master. I liked playing it because Cannon Master's voice lines are so funny, and I like jumping around and stuff like that. But I don't think I would recommend CM though. I really like ICBM Cannonball Fire for real. Who cares? It has funny voice lines, dude. You're right, actually. I would not recommend playing CM, bro. Long live T Monkey. I would not recommend playing this thing, bro. I don't think it's that good, bro. It might even be whack, low key. It might even be whack. Like, just like, don't play it, bro. Guys, this is not in order. This is not in order, okay? Like, this is just tiers. It's not in order. Don't look at the order. Anyways, moving on to Corsair. So if you look at Corsair, oh, also CM's nodes, by the way, I just wanted to mention. Am I blind? Yeah, CM has one of the higher nodes too. I just want to point that out. Like, 15 is very high. Like, that's a very high one. Yeah, so Corsair is 14. That's another high one. Another high one. Now, the thing with Sair, though, is I think it's better than CM, though. Like, I think it's better than CM. Like, if you were to pick one, I think you would rather play Sair than Cannon Master. Because Sair's training is way easier, first of all. And then, it has better short cooldown hits with, what's the headshot skill called? Brain Scrambler. It has better short cooldown hits than CM, so there's that. So if you were to fund a Corsair, like, you're gonna get better results than a funded CM. There's that. Am I about to get ganked? Oh, it also has a skill called Death Trigger that sounds really cool. So just because of that, I'm gonna put it in not so good instead of whack. I want to point that out. But yeah, 220, you just don't have enough. You just don't have enough slots. Its damage isn't too crazy. Brain Scrambler is good though. It's good for short cooldown bosses. Okay, so let's move on to Dark Knight. Okay, so Dark Knight. I'm trying to think. Let's check this first. Dark Knight is very easy on nodes. It's an 8. It's an 8-1, so it's very, very easy. Dark Knight, I believe Dark Knight needs attack speed in it, right? Dark Knight also can't die. It's also very, very strong. Like, the survivability is very, very easy on it, too. There's that. It has short cooldown big hits as well. And then it even has, like, a decent, like, burst, in quotation marks, so. Oh, it doesn't need attack speed 1? Okay, okay. It does use cooldown hand, but cooldown hand at -2 is, like, good enough. Okay, okay. That's good to know. You don't need a cooldown hat at 220? No, you definitely should get a cooldown hat. Like, if your class benefits from -2, you definitely should. Like, -2 is not that hard to hit. It's not that hard to hit. Like, you definitely should try and get it. Like, I'm talking about, like, semi-optimal funding here. What do you mean whack? What do you know about the Beast Teamer rework, bro? Literally, like, you don't know anything about it. Anyways. Yeah, I hear you guys. My thing is I'm trying to debate where to put it at the top because I know this class is really good as a boss mule. I mean, I guess I'll just put it right next to DB. I'll put it right next to DB. Because they're both really good. They're both really good. They have similar-ish play styles. They're both really, really good. So I'll just put them next to each other. Crayon class. Yeah, so Dawn Warrior. Dawn Warrior is really, really, really free. Like, this class is very strong, bro. It's very, very strong. If we look at Dark Knight, I mean, if we look at Dawn Warrior, it's a 9-1. And the thing is, it only needs really like one trio. It doesn't even need like the other ones. It could just run like one trio. And you only really need to max like 2 V skills. I believe Rift of Damnation and Eclipse, right? Those 2 skills. So free. Yeah, no, this thing is very, very free. It's brain dead. Has very easy training. You're going to one-shot always. And I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. Like, it's just brain dead and it's free. Like, this is, you know, this is so free. Like, Dawn Warrior is really, really, really good. Like, anybody could play it. You know what I mean? Saturn on your ass one. That's called Eclipse. That's called Eclipse. It's very, very free. It's very, very free. Put it number 1 if you're a real one. Guys, the order doesn't matter. The order literally doesn't matter. Oh, Eclipse is the sun? Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the one that's like on top of you and it like spins, the purple one. I thought that was Eclipse. Oh. Oh, that's called Cosmos, right? Cosmos, yes. I'm talking about Cosmos, yes. That's what I meant. I meant Cosmos and Rift of Damnation. Yes. I got the names mixed up. Yeah. Eclipse is the Giga one-shotter. Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, I got the names mixed up. But yeah, that's the one I was talking about. So it's very easy. It's very easy. Anyways, let's move on to DA. So DA is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. Its DPS is really, really, really good. What do you mean DA? Oh, nah. Oh, nah. What is wrong with you guys? Level 29 versus level 30 Frenzy. True, true. Ooh, level 29 versus level 30. Ooh. Yo, what if you get a RFS from Endamian, though? What if you get an RFS from Endamian? Hey, you never know. You never know. You could get RFS from Endamian. Low key. DA's damage is good, though. Its training is good with the shields. Its DPS is really, really good. So it's not like you're really going to have to wait for any cooldowns, right? You don't necessarily even need Revenant. Like, you don't necessarily, like, need it to, like, do the bosses either. Like, its DPS is so good. You can just, thank you for the follow. You can just run through all the bosses Let's check the nodes. 11 isn't bad. 11's pretty good. 11's pretty good. I don't know, whack bro. Ain't nobody picking this and saying I'm so glad I made a DA boss meal. No, but if people actually make a DA boss meal, it's a performer. Like, unironically, it's a performer. Like, I don't see any real glaring issues with this. Like, the thing is, like, this class really struggles. The thing is, I don't really see any glaring issues with this. Like, there's really no... The only problems with DA is when you reach, like, Mihile, for example. Like, when you reach, like, Mihile and, like, you have no healing and, like, the chip damage, like, really, like, hurts you a lot. But, like, you're not doing Mihile. You're doing shit like fucking End Cygnus and, like, End Damien and End Lotus. Like, only have videos showing off the classes, too. Oh, my God. I completely forgot about that, bro. Hold on. Yikes. Oh, my God. I forgot about that. Hold on, I have DA footage, bro. Yo, I completely forgot about that. 1 second. Look. Look, let's watch the DA. Like, you have consistent damage, look. You're just holding on a button. Like, this class is very simple. And the thing is, if you run level 30 Frenzy, like, you literally can't die. Like, there's noob version of this class, and there's pro version of this class. You know what I mean? Like, you can run either or. I honestly think DA's a performer, bro. I honestly think DA's a performer. Like, I don't see any problems with this, bro. I don't see any problems with this. Like, I think DA is definitely poggy. Like, there's literally no issues with it. I don't think it's I don't see any issues with it. Like, it's good. 1 minute to kill H-Mag is too much for me. I'm good. Bro, you didn't do Magnus Precast till you were 270, bro. I don't think you should talk about Magnus. Like, you didn't do Magnus Priest till you're 270. Like, bro, shut up. Anyways, let's move on to Demon Slayer. Now, the thing with Demon Slayer is I actually happen to be an expert Demon Slayer myself. It does have a high node cost, so not only... Okay, but the thing is with the high node cost with Demon Slayer is you can alleviate it by not running every single trio. You don't need to get the perfect trios. All you really need is, like, Awakening, like I guess Infernal Concussion if you want to train, right? And, like, Demon Impact, right? Like, you can run small not perfect setup, but the thing with Demon Slayer that really makes it cost a lot of nodes is that it needs max Demon Awakening. Like, max Demon Awakening is very, very important on this class, because Demon Awakening gives it like everything. Like, it gives it the IED, it gives it the crit rate, it gives it all its damage. Like, Demon Awakening is so important to max out because the duration of the skill also increases with level, and whenever you have to max a skill in a class is when it costs a lot. Like, it's going to start costing a lot. So the node cost on this class is very high, which is not that recommended for a boss meal. Its survivability is good. Its training is fine. But G4, you're right. When your Demon Awakening is down, your damage falls off a lot. Like, it really does fall off a lot. That's the thing. To be fair, most of the time you are on Demon Awakening, right? So, but it does fall off a lot. In my opinion, I think... Ooh, this is a tough one because I think it gets the job done, but I think the funding is too high. I can't, bro. The funding is just way too high. I'm gonna say it's not so good. Just, like, the funding requirement is too high on this. It's too high on this. I'm sorry. Like, the nodes is too much. Like, it's too much. That class is really strong if you have it get going, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest with you. Like, it's too much, bro. It's too much. It's too much. I'm somebody who made a Demon Slayer boss meal. I've made Demon Slayer boss meal 2 times actually. So, anyways, let's move on to Evan. I actually happen to be an Evan expert myself. So if you look up Maplestory Evan, I actually have one of the first videos that pops up. I actually happen to be an Evan expert myself. So, you know, like, I'm kind of like an Evan guy, you can say. You can kind of say I'm kind of an Evan guy. So, you know. Do you animation cancel? Bro, bro, call me Freud, bro. Like, you might as well just call me Freud at this point. You might as well just call me Freud at this point. I'm the Evan guy. You might as well, bro. Because, you know. Anyways, Evan's damage is really good. It's really, really good. It has very short cooldowns. With your first job, you can use your... Don't open the comments in that vid where you say you don't know anything about Evan. Yo, stop, bro. Stop. Anyways, you know what I really like about Evan is you could do your Worm King, which has a 1 minute cooldown, or you could use your Dragon Knife, which has like a 20-second cooldown. And if you really need the big burst, you could use your Zodiac Ray, Elemental Radiance for the 3-minute burst. You also have your 4th V skill, which is like the little summon that just shoots in front of you. It has a very short cooldown. But Evan does have a pretty decent learning curve. That's the thing, is it does have a pretty decent learning curve. Like if you just hold down your mana burst, like you're not gonna be doing, like your damage is just whack, bro. Like you're gonna have to like recall and use your combo, your fusion skills like properly. Like you're gonna have to do that. So yeah, there's that. Evan's nodes. Let's check Evan's nodes. Evan's a 12er, so it's not that bad. Sufyan, hello, what's up? It's not that bad. It's a 12er, so you gotta keep that in mind. Evan's iframe actually got buffed, where like the cooldown is based off of how long the iframe is, so that's pretty good. Zodiac is so easy to fuck up. Bro, they made Zodiac so much easier, bro. They made it so much easier. It's like impossible to fuck up now. Like, they made it so much easier, bro. Yeah, so there's that. Oh, because the boss moving around. Now, that's true. That's true. But the thing is, you have bind for every burst, though. Like, you could just bind it. Like, there's no real reason to, like, really miss it. Like, you just have bind for every burst. So there's that. I think Zodiac is 15. Okay. You still get most of it off. Like, you still get most of it off. I agree with what Blake is saying. I think Evan definitely gets the job done. I think its damage is good. Its learning curve is a little bit there. Its training is really good. But it's overall pretty good. Like the damage is good. It has really good damage. It has really good training. Its funding isn't too high, but it does have a learning curve. The learning curve is preventing me from putting it higher. So yeah. It only cleared all of Illuminate at 60 without bursting once. Yeah, and the thing is with Evan Boss Mule anyways, is Elemental Radiance isn't even that important for an Evan Boss Mule. In general, the big 3-minute cooldown really isn't that important for a boss mule. Like, you want to prioritize more of like the low cooldown, big hitting skills. I mean, we can if you guys want to watch stuff. If you want to watch stuff, I mean, I have footage of every class. Like, what? Why do I hear Jeff?
Bind after it's charged, and then we've.
Is this guy just watching Jeff's stream or something? Yeah. So. As you can see, like Evan can even hit the boss in Damien, right? It could even hit Damien. So there's that. Thank you, G4. So yeah. I think Evan's a pumper for real. I think Evan's a pumper. Anyways, Fire Poison. So Fire Poison actually got a lot better because of the increased node slot count. But just like every other Explorer Mage, this is a class that needs a lot of Legion, right? It needs a lot of Legion because of Infinity. You need to have Infinity. You also need the inner ability. The thing with the inner ability is you could just run 50% buff duration first line, which isn't too hard to get, and it'll be fine, right? A lot of this class's damage comes from its 2 nodes, Dot Punisher and Poison Nova, which are short cooldown big hitting skills, right? So you're gonna need to level those 2 skills. Your big like Ifrit is like Ifrit's like whatever, right? So that's like not that big of a deal. So you really just need those 2. Let's check its nodes. So Fire Poison is a 13. 13 is on the higher end, but it's still manageable. If you run like the scuffed setup, it's still manageable. So keep that in mind. FP's damage is very high though. That's the thing. Is its damage is very high. But I'll hear what you guys have to say about it. Hear what you guys have to say. Me personally, I think FP is poggy, but I'll hear what you guys have to say about it. The thing is, as 220, like you get more node slots now. That's the thing. You get more node slots. Like I don't know if you're forgetting that or not. You get more node slots now. Yeah, I know it's still not perfect at 220. Like I'm well aware, but it still got a lot better than what it used to be. It got a lot better. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. Gets the job done. It's poggy. Anyways, yeah. I think FP is fine. It gets the job done. I think it's strong. But I think
A little bit.
I think the only thing preventing me is that its funding requirement is a little too high. I feel like with most of these classes at the top, the funding requirement's easier. Arc, actually, I don't know. This one's like funding requirement's a little higher. Whatever. I'll go back and think about it. Okay, Hayato, unironically, I really don't think you should play this. Like, I actually think it's whack. Like, don't do this as a 220 boss wheel. And I'll tell you why. So, even though Hayato has... It got buffed a lot. Like, it did get buffed a lot. Like, its damage is good. Like, Shinsoku is a big hitter. Zonko is a big hitter. Susanoo is a big hitter. They made its nodes way easier. Like, Hayato nodes are so easy to get now. But I honestly think that the learning curve and keeping up Phantom Blade stacks in between bosses are some of the worst possible experiences you can have on this game. Like, even for me, keeping up Phantom Blade in between weekly bosses is so annoying. Like, sometimes I'll have to TP to a random map and use Phantom Blade just so I keep up the stacks. Not only that, you have to finish every single boss with Phantom Blade. Like, you have to keep that in mind while you're doing the bosses. If you don't finish the boss with Phantom Blade, like if you don't do the finishing hit, like basically with Phantom Blade, like you're going to lose stacks by the time you do the next boss. And you're going to enter the next boss with low energy, or you're going to have to sit outside and fucking spam Falcons on her to reach 1,000. Like, bro, it's so inconvenient. Like, it's so inconvenient. Don't do it, bro. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And especially if you don't know how to play it, like, it's not a Hurricane class anymore. It's Rapid Flash. You have to weave. Like, if you don't know how to play it, it's a horrible experience, bro. Don't do it. This class fucking sucks, bro. It actually sucks. Don't do it. Wish we had a video we could make a reference to. I mean, this is old Hayato, though. That's the thing. Like, this is Shinsoku Hayato. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is actually a perfect examples. Zara, thank you so much for a second month. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. This is a perfect example. Watch what he's doing here. So he kills the boss, right? He makes sure that he's using Phantom Blade, right? He's pressing Phantom Blade. You can see it right here. This skill right here is Phantom Blade. He uses it right when the boss is like at 1%, so he could kill the boss, right? He immediately goes and loots the crystal because he knows he has to be quick, right? He knows he has to be quick. Leaves the map. Uses Phantom Blade on mobs so he can refresh the stack. So that while he's on his way to the next boss, he still has Phantom Blade. Right? Misses the Falcon Dive. Is it because this guy doesn't know what he's doing? And now he can enter the next boss, and he still has his buff, right? This is like legit what you have to do in Hayato. I'm telling you, like, this is legit what you have to do. Like, to maintain stacks, you have to do this type of stuff. Like it's mad annoying, bro. It's mad annoying. So yeah, don't do it, bro. All right, hero. Okay, so I didn't have to do this on my Hayato. Yeah, because you're Hayato. Shut up, bro. Anyways. Hero. Hero's really good, bro. This class is mad strong. It's mad strong, bro. It's really good. Yo, I'm trying to think what's wrong with Hero. I can't think of anything, bro. I actually can't think of anything that's wrong with it. I legit can't think of anything that's wrong with it, bro. The nodes are easy. It's really strong. Shit up jump. It's not even like that shit, though. Like, that's the thing. It's not even that crazy, bro. Dude, but the thing with Hero is you don't even need the attack speed necessarily. Like, it's still strong with even if you run two-handed and you don't run the attack speed, it's still strong. It's still strong. And if you really, really, really want the attack speed, just run one-handed and get a shield. Shield is still strong. Actually, but two-handed is like 11 FD over the one-handed. Bro, the shield gives you stars. The shield has stars. So you get attack through that. So it's not that much worse. It's not that much worse. Like, it's just a boss meal. Like, you got to keep that in mind. Even if you really want the attack speed, like, you just run the one-handed. And like, you don't, like, I've done hero without attack speed on two-handed, and it's still perfectly fine. It's still perfectly fine, even without it, bro. Look at this. This guy has no attack speed. Keep that in mind. He has no attack speed. This class is perfectly fine as a boss meal. Yo, why is this guy getting hit by debris, though? Very short cooldown iframe. Very, very easy to play. Even blue sticks can play it. A lot of your damage comes from Burning Soul Blade, which you can literally put down, and like, you literally can put the Burning Soul Blade down, and it just does damage automatically. Like, you don't even have to think about it. This class has two forms of Super Stance. It has Super Stance with its Cry Valhalla hyper skill, and it has Super Stance with Impenetrable Skin. And yeah, bro, like, it's you have Super Stance like half the time. Like, it's crazy. I think this class is definitely so free. Like, Hero's so easy, bro. Anyways, moving on to Hoyoung. Hero does not have a bind. Moving on to Hoyoung. I actually happen to be a Hoyoung expert myself. You know, those who know, I did have a level 250 Hoyoung, and it did perform. I'm not gonna lie, it did perform, but it was level 250. So, you know, it was level 250 though. They have Phil. They do have Phil. Yo, this is a Papa video. Now, the thing about Hoyoung, though, is Hoyoung, it needs a lot of nodes. It has a learning curve. I'm not gonna, like, the learning curve on Hoyoung is not an easy one either. There's a lot of buffs you have to upkeep. Debuffs you have to upkeep as well. And a lot of spamming, a lot of clicking, like, too. Like, it has a learning curve, so you got to get ready with that. Like, it's not easy. It's not an easy class to play either. Yo, it's Phil. A lot of this class's damage is in your burst as well. It has a pretty tough burst setup. So Like, you're pretty reliant on it. You have a lot of things you need to upkeep. You need to upkeep your vortex on the floor. You need to upkeep your little ghost. You need to upkeep your butterflies. You need to upkeep your cudgel resets. Like, there's a lot you need to do here to play this class optimally. So in my opinion, I don't think it's that good as a 220 boss meal. I'm gonna put it in not so good. Like, it just needs too much. The learning curve is too much. Even like Hoyoung training is good, but even training has a learning curve to this class. The funding is with the nodes is a lot. It has a steep learning curve. It's only level 220. It doesn't have all of its node slots. Like, there's a lot that you gotta do. So I don't really recommend it that much. Can you summarize what you said about Adele? I missed it. You got to go back. Sorry. Above bishop, below FP. Huh? Oh, IL? Yeah, so let's talk about ice lining. Let's talk about ice lining. Let's talk about ice lining. Damn, ice lining kind of OP, bruh. Yeah, ice lining kind of OP. Oh, man. Wait, this guy's name is Korosu. Oh, this guy's too funny, yo. That's too funny. Korosu. My unreliable memory is not max. No infinity, no damage. Yeah, so just at the end of the day, just like every other explorer mage, you need the buff duration. You can get your 50%. Now, what's nice about ice lightning is attack speed doesn't affect it as much as the other ones because most of your damage comes from your skills. So just getting the 50% buff duration first line is really, really good. It's like it's fine. But this class, it has a 2-minute burst as well, which is pretty good with lightning orb. It has pretty decent like uptime with you know, Jupiter Thunder is one of those classes, one of those skills that you just put on the boss and it just does damage. Spirit of Snow does a lot of damage as well. Bolt Barrage, sometimes Bolt Barrage could be a bit tricky to hit because bosses can move around, but this class does have a self bind, which is good. And if you equip your own bind, then you have 2 binds. But I mean, that's nobody would really do that. Ice Lightning's training is also really, really, really easy. The self-bind is 13 seconds. Yeah, it's longer. I love Jupiter Thunder until I miss it and I have to reuse it, which offsets my burst. Yeah, but at least the cooldown gets, like, refunded, basically. At least the cooldown gets refunded. IL? I honestly think IL gets the job done. I honestly think so. Like, I don't really see any, like, big issues with the IL. It has good IED as well, just because of the nature of the class as well, too. So I think IL gets the job done, 100%. Illium. I have footage. Let's talk about Illium. If it's strong, Jupiter Thunder comes back faster, kind of nice. Yeah, true. Like if you use Jupiter Thunder on like NSIG and it just destroys it, yeah, it'll get it. I have footage for every class, yeah, actually. I do, actually, yeah. Illium. Yeah, look at this Illium tech. Watch. Watch the Illium tech, bro. Watch, bro. I don't even have to say anything. Watch. Watch the Illium tech. Yup. Look at this, bro. Illium is too crazy, bro. Illium is too crazy. It's a free bind. It's legit a free bind. You don't even have to aim. You just have to spam. Blue balls? What are blue balls, bro? Illium is too crazy, bro. So he's charging up his ball right now. For those who don't know what's happening, he's charging up his ball. This alone makes it so free, not gonna lie. No, it's not so free. So here's another thing about Illium. So this is really good, but the thing about Illium is that's annoying is you need to charge up your ball. So like if you're not super strong, you're gonna be sitting outside charging up your ball. Like you're gonna just be sitting there fucking hitting your ball all the time and waiting for it to like it takes like 2 seconds. Wait, really? Did they make it faster? Am I stupid? I thought that charging up the ball still like took a bit. Does not take 2 seconds. Why would you say that, bro? Why would you say that? This guy actually gaslit me. He legit gaslit me. Yeah, this guy just missed his longiest spear. Guy is coping. Anyways, yeah, that's the only thing about Illium is it takes a bit of time to recharge your shit. So like if you're not super strong, you're gonna have to be recharging it quite often, which is like whatever. Oh my god, did even the heroes will tech? I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't really see any big issues with Illium. Let's check the nodes real quick. 8. Wow, 8 is so good, bro. 8 is so good. I don't see any issues with Illium, bro. Like, where would you guys put it? Where would you guys put it? I don't see any issues with this class really, besides having to wait. Yeah, this class is definitely underrated. Like, people just don't play it. People just don't play it. That's it. So, cockroach class. You're so weird. I definitely think it's a Poggy class, like 100%. Yo, these floras are kind of crazy, bro. These floras are kind of crazy. Flora stocks are pretty good right now. Low key. Low key. Yo, don't do this, bro. Rest in peace, bro. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Yo, all these non-KMS classes, bro. Oh, nah. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. That's so free you can swap to Buck. True. That's actually true. That's actually true. You can swap to Buck. Alright, let's talk about Kain. Let's talk about Kain and let's look at the Kain nodes. Kain is an 8, bro. Kain's easy. Wait, wrong one. Let's talk about Kain. Okay, we have our Kain over here. Destroy. Yo, this class kind of sucks, bro. This class kind of sucks, bro. Yeah, I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling. The thing about showing these videos that is very misleading is a lot of people will think the class is weak just because the person is weak. But no, the class is not weak. Hyperion Kain. Bro sent a min clear Crimson Queen. Yeah, this is min clear. He didn't use his burst, right? He didn't use his burst, right? Oh, nah. DR? Oh, nah. His nodes were like level like 13 or something. Extreme Queen. Okay, but on the real though, Kain isn't bad. It does have a learning curve though. There are a lot of buttons to press. Like simply just because a class has a lot of buttons to press, it automatically has a learning curve, which is like a turnoff for new players who are trying to like make a boss mule at 220, right? It has very good low cooldown skills though, which is very strong for boss mules. Kain has the most buttons out of anything I've played of. It has buttons, bro. There's a lot of buttons to press. But Kain The buttons do perform though. Kain is strong. It's a strong class. It has very good movement and survivability. Force dark side with dashes, and I believe that it has an iframe as well. That little floaty thing. And it has short cooldown bursts. Like, I don't really see any problems with Kain, to be honest, either. It just has a learning curve. I think its training isn't that crazy either. Actually, no, I take that back. I think its training is good. I think I'm just gonna put Kain here. It definitely gets the job done. It definitely gets the job done. I think it's kind of try hard. Dude, I could have sworn I saw like a crazy Kain training video. I see. Kanna? What? Oh, that's the next class. Because Kane's cooldowns line up with the mob timers. Like, because obviously we don't have like Kish and stuff like that, right? So like its cooldowns all line up with the mob timers. So it's like you could always like hit the, you're not really like waiting on anything. It's designed that way to mob. Yeah. I am trying to think. I think it's fine here. I think it's fine here. I don't know if it gets job done is like... I'm going to change this to Gudge. Gudge. I don't know if it gets job done. Because gets job done makes it feel like it's like a reluctant pick. You know what I mean? But that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not trying to say like it's a reluctant pick. I'm just trying to say like it's good. Like, it's good and it'll do good. Alright. Kanna. I know obviously everybody's making fun of Kanna, but like we need to think objectively here, guys. We need to think objectively here, okay? We need to think objectively here, okay? Not just jokes because it's Kanna, okay? We need to think objectively here, guys. IED? What do you mean it has a 15-second bind? It's unkillable. It has really good training. What are you guys talking about? 2 binds. Unkillable class. Very good training. Very easy to... Guys, it has domain. It has domain. Yeah, I can't even pretend, bro. Don't play this class, bro. Just don't play it. Yo, all these non-KMS classes, bro, do not play them, bro. Do not play them. Kaiser. All right, let's talk about Kaiser. Bro, Kaiser can't even one double open Gloom first burst. Why would anybody play Kaiser? What? It can't even double open Gloom first burst. True. 4-minute class. Am I in a time loop? All right, let's look at some Kaiser footage. D people. D people. D people. Yo, I actually caught this guy, bro. Caught him playing Kaiser. Bro's got an arcane weapon. Wait, this guy's low-key a Kaiser main. Look at this. This guy's low-key a Kaiser main. Look at all these earrings he has. He's low-key a Kaiser main. Oh, nah. What is this 2006 animations, bro? Villain Guild. I actually think Kaiser's a great boss wheel. I ain't even trolling. I like realistically here, like Kaiser is a great boss wheel. I really think so. Its DPS is very good. It has the 5 like the I put 4. The 5 swords that it has as well are like heat seeking too, so they could like hit the boss in the air, for example, if Damien goes up. Like, there's that. I think it's pretty easy to play too. It has very good movement in its final form. You definitely need the attack speed. Yeah, you need the attack speed. So that prevents me from putting it in so free. But I think it's a good boss meal. I think it's a very, very good boss meal. Like, legit. Let's double check its nodes real quick. 13 is a little bit on the higher end. But yeah, 13's a little bit on the higher end. That's true. I heard Kaiser gets weaker if you have Aurora too, actually. Okay. I'm going to put it in Poggy. I think this is a good boss meal though, like unironically. All right, let's move on to Khali. I actually happen to be a Khali expert, guys. I actually happen to be a Khali expert. I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually happen to be a Khali expert. I actually happen to be a, like, you know, a Khali expert. So let's watch some Khali footage. Yo, why this guy got Sand Rogue? I actually happen to be a Khali expert. Sand Rogue. Yes, this is a whack-a-mole class. This is a whack-a-mole class. So what's a whack-a-mole class? A whack-a-mole class is you literally just, you spam a lot on this class. Like, you're spamming your Void Rush all the time. You're spamming your blue skills. Like, it's a very, like, as soon as something is up, boom, you spam it. Like you're just pressing the cooldowns, like off cooldown. Now the thing about Khali is, in my opinion, I think the kit is really good. Like, I think it has good short cooldown skills, and it has a decent big cooldown skill, right? But the issue with this class is the amount of effort you have to put in for the damage. The damage isn't too high, and you have to put in a lot of effort. Like, you have to min max on this class for it to perform like barely any good. And if you run the proper inner, like cooldown skip, and you have like a cooldown hat, yo, it's overwhelming. Like, there's a lot of resets and a lot of buttons you got to press at the same time. So I think the learning curve is there, but the damage isn't there. So in my opinion, I actually don't think it's that good. Like, if you ever seen my Khali perform, it's because my Khali is overfunded out the wazoo, bro. Like, it's so strong. But for most players, like, I would not recommend this. Like, this Khali is strong too. Like, low-key it is. The amount of effort it takes, it's not worth it, bro. This is on burst too. He just didn't pop his void burst, but this is his burst. Like, he's using the Giga Chakras, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, I would not recommend it. It's definitely not so good. Yeah, so Kinesis. Let's look at Kinesis. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. Alright, let's look at Kinesis. You know, decently funded. Actually, it's pretty funded. No sound? Okay, all good. What shape is this, guys? What shape is this? What is this shape? What's that Dicadon? No, it's an icosahedron. Come on, guys. You don't know what an icosahedron is? It's not a dodecahedron, dumbass. It's an icosahedron. Come on. Icosahedron, guys. Come on. Pay attention. Not a math teacher. Bro, you're a streamer? Stop. What? No, I'm not. I am not a streamer, bro. I'm just a normal guy. Convex polyhedron bros WWA. Anyways. Actually, he mains Hayato. Now this is very important. Let's look at this class's DPS. This is like what the DPS is more like. it actually doesn't have bad DPS because you have skills that come up pretty often. The thing with Kinesis is you have PP. You have PP with Kinesis, and with the PP you make the train come out, and with the PP goes down so fast. Yeah, because he has his toggle on that makes the PP go down like 1 PP every like half second or something. PP, nah PP. Yeah, no, you have the PP on the Kinesis, bro. Kinesis has very good mobility. Look at this too. Look at this. The PP. No PP endurance. Let's check the nodes on Kinesis. Kinesis is a 13, which is a little bit on the higher end. PP stands for psychic penis. All good. Kinesis' damage isn't bad. Its skills are pretty good. It has a burst. It has an iframe as well. The cutscene iframe, which is a hyper skill. It has very good movement. Its training is really good because it hits really, really hard. It's one of those classes that its mobbing skill is also its bossing skill, so it hits really hard, just like Adele's cleave, for example. I don't really see any issues with Kinesis. Like, I think it's definitely, it's either good or poggy. Like, where would you guys put it? Oh, I'm excited for the next one, bro. I'm excited. I'm excited, bro. So free. Yeah, that's true. If you suck at PP management, it's not that good. But the thing is, PP management isn't that hard though. So I'm just gonna put it in good. That's fine. Just because of that, I'll put it here. Oh my god, he's at the top. Who cares? All right, Lara, guys, I'm not even trolling. Guys, I'm not even trolling. I honestly think Lara is one of the best boss mules in the game. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. I honestly think it's one of the best ones in the whole game, bro. Like, Lara is actually crazy, bro. It's actually crazy. It's actually crazy. Let me pull up the Lara, bro. Lara's actually crazy. I'm deadass. Lara is crazy. Yo, shout out to Laronk, bro. Look at this. This is just the Lara DPS. All right, let me explain Lara, okay? Let me explain Lara. Obviously, this guy's really, really strong, right? Obviously, he's really strong. But let me explain Lara's skills. So you have a skill called Big Stretch. Big Stretch. Anyways, you have a skill called Big Stretch, which is a very good skill because it's modular. You can either use all 5 big stretches, and it does a really ton of damage and has a short cooldown. Or you could use like 1 or 2 big stretches and it has a shorter cooldown, but it still does a lot of damage. It also has Essence Surge, which is, I believe, is like 20-25 seconds, which does a pretty big hit. You have your summon that also has a 1-minute cooldown. Those like mountain things that run around, those things do so much damage. They actually do so much damage. And of course you have the LCS, the big Lance Connection. Now, you know what's the crazy thing about Lance Connection is you actually don't even need it on a boss mule. Like, as on a boss mule, you actually don't even need it because Lance Connection has a 3-minute cooldown, and it's like, it just takes too long. You might as well like max out Big Stretch. Its summons are mad strong. They buff them. They buff the summons a lot. They're mad strong. And it has a hyper skill so that every single time you place a summon, you have super stance. You pretty much have perm super stance as well. Sprinkle does pretty good damage as well, which is its main basic attacking skill. It has really good survivability with Friend. It has very big damage reduction with that as well. It has very short cooldown with the, what's this skill called? I forgot what it's called. It's the one that breaks 1 vein only. That skill is pretty good. Like, it has very constant DPS with that as well. Now, the only thing about Lara, though, if I'm going to be completely honest, is it does have a lot of wake up call. Yeah, it has a lot of micro management, though. You have to replace your summons a lot. You have to use wake up call a lot. Like, there's a lot of like, it's almost like a whack-a-mole class, to be honest with you. There's a lot of like low cooldown things that you got to manage all the time. And then even when your burst has a pretty it has okay setup. Like there definitely is a setup to the burst. It's not just like a one button lance connection. No, like you need to proc your hyper skill buff. You need to make sure you have 5 veins on the ground. So there's that. But because of that, the training is so free too. The Lara nodes are some of the easiest in the whole game. As you can see, Lara's an 8. It's one of the easiest in the whole game. But its damage is there. People who think Lara is weak, no, you're not up to date. The damage is there. I definitely think it's poggy though. It's not so free though. It's poggy though. Because the micro on Lara is a little too much. Lumi, oh my god, Lumi's obviously so free. Everybody should play Lumi. I'm not FCS, bro. What the hell? Don't say that. 15k stat. 15k is pretty strong for a boss move. You could get away with like 11, 12. Anyways, let's look at Lumi. Yo, Luminous is broken, bro. Luminous is straight up broken. This class is OP, bro. This class is broken, bro. Look at this. Look at this. Reflection is crazy. What is this guy doing, bro? What is happening? Oh, he forgot his links. He forgot his links. All good, all good, all good, all good. All good, all good, all good. Oh. Yo. Alright, he gets serious here. Focus up. He reached equilibrium. He gets serious here. He gets serious here. Okay, he's in equilibrium. Let's see the enders. Okay, he's using ender. Look how many lines enders. Conduit. Look how many lines conduit does. Conduit has a very short cooldown too. I want to point that out. Conduit's like 30 seconds or something. Conduit's very short. And just spam ender. Yo, that's good. That's pretty good. Lumi's crazy. Lumi's crazy. Lumi's crazy. Lumi's crazy, bro. Anyways, so Lumi's at 13, which isn't too good. And the thing with Lumi is Baptism has a very long cooldown. Liberation Orbs has a very long cooldown. So for a boss meal, those two skills, because they have a long cooldown, isn't that good. Like it's 3 minute. Gate is like whatever. Doesn't do that much damage. So Conduit is really like your only V skill that you're going to be using like pretty often for a boss meal. And it needs buff duration for Equilibrium. So there's that. Like it's another class that needs like high legion. Lumi has like good IAD, but like, you know, the attack speed actually helps with Lumi a lot. Like you really need it just because of Ender. Like you need to spam Ender or Apocalypse when you're like off cooldown or Reflection or whatsoever. So I actually don't really recommend Lumi that much. Its training is really good. Its learning curve isn't that much. To be honest, it's not that hard to play Lumi, but I wouldn't recommend it though. I don't think it's that good. I'm just being honest, not that good. All right, so next one is Marksman. I think Marksman is so good. It's so good. This class is so good, bro. It's so good. It's so good. I think it's so free. So the thing with Marksman is it is the absolute lowest and easiest class to get nodes in the whole game. Like there's that first, right? The other thing with Marksman is, first of all, it's a sharp eye, so you don't need decent sharp eyes. You do benefit from having that attack speed, but even if you don't have that attack speed, it's still really good. Another thing about Marksman is its split shot. Its V skill that gives it a lot of its damage. Even at level 1, its duration is still, I believe, 72 seconds. So it's not one of those skills like Demon Awakening where you need to level it up really high to increase the duration. Like even at level 1, it's still really good. Cartridge, you get all 8 cartridges at level 1 as well. They buffed its V skill, the one that the iframe that you like point and click. They buffed it to have a shorter cooldown, and it does a lot of damage now. Yeah, Marksman is crazy. There's literally nothing bad about it. Even its dummy, its arrow illusion, I believe. Like it just makes Lotus go brain dead. It's so easy. You could go reinforce if you want, or you could just go regular boss set. Anchor hold Damien Balls. I don't think it holds Damien Balls. The TP is obviously OP. That's part of BowMaster as well. It's so good. This class is just broken. Like, it's actually just so broken. Let's look at some Marksman gameplay. Yeah, it has the boop, 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 boop. Let's look at some Marksman gameplay. Look at this. He puts the arrow illusion down, and Lotus just goes complete brain dead, and you have free reign. It does have a lot of ID as well, and crit rate. Free reign to just hit it. But even its off burst isn't that bad, because every third hit has like the big empowered hit. It's not even that bad. So yeah, Marksman is definitely so free. All right, mech. Let's talk about mech. Let's watch this mech. All right, so mech has its carrier, it has a lot of summons. Beep, 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 beep. This is its iframe. The mech is literally you guys. Like, whenever you guys type in chat, I hear this sound every single time. I hear this sound every time you guys type in chat. Anyways, let's look at mech's nodes as well. Am I blind? I'm blind. Mech is 14, which is on the harder end. 14 is one of the higher ones. So keep that in mind. Beep, 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 beep. But mech has pretty good burst, and it has a good, I think its hyper skill has a good is like a short cooldown, what's it called, battery or something? Let me look it up. It's way too long. I mean, you could hit Damien in the air with it. Damien does blue balls, it's over. True. Actually, I thought it goes over it. I don't know, I'm stupid. Distortion bomb. Is that what I'm thinking of? Distortion bomb for its hyper skill? I think you are high enough where the blue balls don't even hit you, because I'm pretty sure mechs do that shit. That's the hyper. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that hyper is pretty good. Like, it's a low cooldown, like, big hitter skill. Battery's a V skill. Okay, I'm stupid. Mixing up the skill names. Yeah, battery has a 25-second cooldown. Like, that's pretty good for like a big hitting V skill. The only thing about mech is that all its other skills are 3-minute though. Like, all its other V skills are 3-minute. So you're pretty much just spamming your hyper skill and your battery and like your basic attack and the missiles. Like, you're spamming a lot on mech, but everything else is 3-minute. Let's go back to the mech video. Bro got pushed. Beep, beep, beep. This guy's really strong though. This thing. It's a bit hard to tell. But yeah. Where would you guys place mech? I don't think it's bad. I think it's just fine. I think mech is good. Beep. Okay. Let's move on to Merc. Merc. Alright, let's check the nodes on Merc real quick. 10 is not bad. Wait, look at this guy. Look what he's listening to. Oh, this guy's trying to mess with me, bruh. He's trying to mess with me. Anyways. So the thing with Merc is there is a learning curve. You do have to combo with this class. If you just hold Ishtar's ring, you're not gonna get the performance you want. Like, you need to keep up your stacks, your FD stacks. They made the FD stacks keeping it up way easier. They made it so that it has 30 seconds, but it is similar to Phantom Blade. Like, you need to keep that shit up. But the nice thing about Phantom Blade, or the nice thing about Merc stacks, is you don't need a target to keep it up. Like, you could just combo on your way to the next boss and you're good. Merc's burst is very strong. It has very, very strong burst. So, like, once you, like, it's one of those classes that, like, if you're on the burst timer, while you're off burst, you should go do, like, the little baby bosses, right? You should go do the babier bosses, like, while your burst is on cooldown. The thing is, the DPS isn't bad either, though, on Merc. Like, if you really know how to, like, combo up and you know how to, like, play it, it's good. It's really good. This class also benefits from the Oz rings too. If you run Aurora on this thing, oh my god. Like, if you get lucky and get Aurora, oh my god, it's so strong. It has very, very good movement, very good options for your survivability as well. Like, the combos that he's doing, even this guy, they're not that complicated. Like, they're really not that complicated. It's literally just like Leap Tornado, Gust Dive, Spikes Royale. I'm trying to remember the names of the skills. Spikes Royale, like, it's really not that hard. The hyper skill as well, like, it's really, like, you don't have to go that crazy on the combos. And then your burst, you can keep it simple. Get on the donkey, pop your 4th V, the one that has, like, all the banners, and then just hold down Urkala's Wrath. Like, it's really not that crazy. And of course your clones, of course. So I honestly think Merc is really good. I think his Merc is really good. I've been calling it Donkey as, like, a joke for so long, so I just keep saying Donkey. I think Merc is really good. Like, I know it has a learning curve and the training is, like, whatever, but I think its performance is really, 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 really good. I think it's poggy. I'm dead ass. Mihile, this class is broken, bro. This class is so broken, man. This class is really, really, really broken. It's really broken. The thing with Mihile, though, is it's one of those classes that you either love it or you hate it. Like, you're gonna have to spam Royal Guard, right? Like, it's the core mechanic of the class, and if you don't like it, you're not gonna like it. But performance-wise, it's so good. Its damage is there. The funding is so low on this too. Mihile's a 9. 9 is one of the easy ones. Its mobbing is so free. Playing it is so free. You can literally never die on it. It's so simple to understand. I think it's honestly so free. Like, this class is crazy, bro. This class is crazy. Like, look at this. Like, it's so simple to understand. He's literally just holding down one button. Whenever you get in trouble, you could just Royal Guard. Or you could use Royal Guard for damage. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with this class. Like, this class is crazy. Like, this class is literally crazy. You could do your weeklies blindfold. Like, you actually can. Okay, Night Lord. So, you know what's very interesting about Night Lord is normally, actually, I would never recommend Night Lord just because of the nature of the class. Like, you know, very high burst and stuff like that. But I actually think Night Lord has gotten way better since like the last time I did a tier list for 220. Night Lord's DPS has increased a lot. That's the first thing. Since you have more node slots, you could fit in things like Shadow Walker. It's always a good time to come back to Maple.
Only little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, G4. I think Night Lord's actually really good. And if you luck out and get an Oz rank, it's insanely strong, right? Night Lord's also very easy to train. It has very good crit rate as well. It has very good IED because of Frailty Curse. And it's very simple to understand and know how to play. It has its dash that puts it in Force Dark Side and gives you a short movement. It doesn't have an iframe, but like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need an iframe. That's the other thing as well. You could put the route get Kerr. Yeah, you could route your weeklies, right? Like if you pop burst and you know you're not gonna have it, okay, then go do Magnus, right? You have Shuriken. Shuriken is a very good low cooldown big hitting skill. You have your Dark Lord's Omen, which is a 1 minute big hitting cooldown skill as well. So like it's not. Oh, you also have the explosive tags, right? They proc automatically like every 10 seconds or something. So your DPS is it's still there. Like Night Lord is not like 100% focused like burst heavy. I think it's actually still a really good 220 boss mule. I wouldn't say it's so free though. I wouldn't say it's so free though. The other thing about the explosive tags that's really good is that even at level 1 you get all the tags. I believe there's 63 of them. So even at level 1 you get all of them. Now the issue about Night Lord though is your spread throw, your throwing star barrage, is that has a long duration too. Yeah, so you could use on multiple bosses. The issue with them with the throwing star barrage is its duration increases with level, so you're gonna need it to be high level. That's the thing. So the node, even though the node on this class isn't too bad at 10, you're gonna have to max the skill like pretty high. So I honestly think Night Lord is poggy. Like I really do think it's a good boss mule nowadays. It's not what it used to be. I think it definitely has gone up a lot. All right, Nightwalker. I remember I used to always just skip the class every time we did a tier list. It's pretty funny. I would just skip it. I think this class is definitely so free, like easily. And not even just because it's so strong. Like obviously it's really strong, but its cooldowns are really, really, really good too. Spear lasts for so long. GDS has a really short cooldown. Rapid Throw has a 90-second cooldown. You don't even need to use like your necessarily like your huge burst. Like the DPS is just so high on it. Bats do so much damage. It's so easy to train. Literally nothing is bad about this class. It has good survivability, obviously with your backstep that forces you in Darkside when you use Quint. It has good movement with GDS swapping. It has good survivability. You literally have your own self door. Darkside, of course. It has a class bind. You have 100% crit when you're a Dominion. Like, there really isn't that much bad with this class. Bite has a very short cooldown. Gives you a FD buff. There's nothing bad with Nightwalker. It's so good. It's so good. It legit is. I can't think of anything bad to say about it. It's so good. It's so free. If you look at the node cost, it's a 9 class, which is so easy. Paladin. Okay, so let's pull up a Paladin video. This is so loud. Yeah, if you want to go budget on the nodes, you could literally just run Quint and Bat. I'm not even trolling.
Only little bit.
So the thing about Paladin is Paladin is a very burst favored boss. It has a very strong burst, and its burst is very short. It only lasts like 5 seconds, but off burst its damage is so suffering. Like its damage suffers so much off burst. It's unkillable, which is a plus. Its training is fine, but its DPS just isn't there. And the thing with 220 boss moves is you need the good DPS. You need it. Like you're not gonna perform. You're not gonna be high ranking if your DPS isn't that high. I'm sorry. 9 is very good. The nodes is good. The funding is good. You can't die. It's very easy to play. The training is good. It's just too burst reliant. That's the thing. Yeah. And the echo, like you need to play this class with somebody else for it to really shine. So that's the problem. But it needs the damage. So in my opinion, I would not recommend Paladin. Not so good. Of course, anything will get the job done, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't, bro. As a 220 boss meal, no. There's way more better options. All right, let's run Pathfinder. I actually used to have a Pathfinder boss meal too. This guy's level 267. What the hell? What is this? What am I watching? What am I watching? Okay. All right. I guess I'm just gonna have to explain PF myself. I'll take care of it myself. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, so Pathfinder, it has a lot of short cooldown big hitting skills. So its glyph has a very short cooldown. The cooldown actually goes down while you're switching like between deluge and all that stuff. Like while you're using your main attack, a cooldown goes down as you're hitting it. Triple impact, same thing. Triple impact is a super stance, so it's basically a perm super stance. It has its swarm shot, which actually surprisingly does a decent amount of damage. I forgot what the skill is called, but it's a bunch of like squigglies, like AoE around you. That's actually not bad too, and it adds a buff. Its NATO is very, very strong. Its NATO can hit Damien in the air as well. Sky G4, bro, you're so weird. Anyways, it has okay burst with its Nova Blast, but Nova Blast really isn't that important for a boss mule. You're more looking at your 4th V skill, the turrets, and your NATO. Those two skills in particular are like your big skills for this class. But there's a decent amount of micro with PF because you're gonna have to spam your glyph, your squiggly skill, and your triple impact like off cooldown while you're using the macro. And it's an archer, so naturally like with sharp eyes and stuff, it's gonna have a lot of crit rate. No, you don't? What? Versus better not consider. Yeah, they did reduce the window. You don't cobble those anymore? Really? Like even at 220? You only do macro plus glyph now. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Triple impact really isn't worth anymore? Okay. Glyph is really easy because glyph you could use it like in the middle of your other skill, like has very short animation, but triple impact like has an up and then a down, so but you could just save it for super stance. And then for PF's nodes, it's very easy. It's a 9-1. It's a 9-1, so it's very easy. But yeah, I don't think PF is bad either. I don't see anything bad with PF. PF's Torrent is so good too. Torrent is such a good skill for survivability, moving around. It's so good. I guess in P2 Lotus hops over the push 2s over P3. Yeah. I honestly think PF is poggy. Like there's really nothing wrong with it. I think its damage is good. It has a good kit. Easy to train. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, Torrent can super stance. You're right. You're right. It can. You're absolutely right about that. All right, Phantom. I got to be quick because I have to go a bit soon. All right, let's look at Phantom real quick. Do not play Phantom, guys. It's funny. Spin. So here's the thing with Phantom, right? So Phantom has very good DPS uptime, but let me explain. the thing with these bosses at the early game when you're 220 is every class has good DPS uptime on these like classes when you're at 220, right? Phantom excels like at end game bosses because end game bosses it's a lot harder to have really good DPS uptime, but Phantom really has good DPS uptime in those bosses too. But when you're in the low tier bosses, it doesn't, that advantage that Phantom has of having really good DPS uptime isn't that important. It's not as important. So really, like early game, that's why a lot of people think Phantom sucks, is because it's not necessarily an early game class. It's more of an end game class where you can really shine then. Phantom is very fun to play, of course. So there's that. I mean, like it'll get the job done. But I honestly don't recommend it. A lot of its damage comes from its burst as well. It comes from its Joker. So there's that. But yeah, I would not recommend Phantom. As a 220 boss fight, I wouldn't recommend it. No. Shade. You know what's crazy about Shade? Is Shade had like a patch where it was legit on top of the world, bro. Like Shade was the him class. Like Shade was legit the him class, and then it like got like cut in half. Alright, so let's look at Shade. Spin. Shade has a self-bind, which is really nice. I believe Shade's damage is pretty low right now, though. Like, they got a lot of their damage just, like, killed. Like, obviously don't use this as an example. Like, we don't know how geared this guy is. But, yeah. Shade is basically, like... It's basically, like, you just spamming the same skill until your 90-second burst is up, right? Or until you're, like, your spinner is up or your big burst is up. But the thing is, Shade, it also has very, very good survivability and very good movement. Like, you're pretty much never going to die with this class. But its damage just isn't there, bro. I'm sorry. Like, at the end of the day, a big part of it is damage, and it's not there, bro. It's not there. Shade is a 15 class, too, which is one of the hardest node classes to fund. I would really not recommend Shade. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put it in whack. Like, I really don't recommend it. Like, don't do this as a boss mule. It's really not it. It's really not it, bro. It's not it. The burst is fine. Off burst is not good. The funding is so high. I wouldn't do it, bro. All right, Shadower. So the thing about Shadower, I don't know if you guys are gonna like hearing this though. Shadower is like one of the best classes in the game in general. Like Shadower is just so good, but it has a learning curve though. Like a lot of people don't know how to weave. They're not gonna hit their trick blades. Like I don't like that's the only thing that I can say potentially like negative about this class. It's so OP, you don't even know how to weave. That's funny. You just spam ME and assassinate. You do that. You're honestly right. Like you don't necessarily have to min max to perform on this class, but I do want to mention that though. I do want to mention that like I do think it's worth mentioning. You could just sticky keys it too. I do want to think it's worth mentioning like that the class does have a learning curve to perform optimally, because I have seen people in my own chat say like, oh, I made a Shad boss because you recommended it, but I really don't think it's that good. And then I find out that they just don't know how to play the class. Like they never hit Trick Blade once. They like always miss a Sonic Blow. They didn't know that you could even like get out of Sonic Blow with like a Salter, for example. So it's stuff like that. Like do a little bit of homework on this class, just a little bit of homework, and this class rips, bro. Like it's mad strong, bro. Like it's mad strong, but you just have to do a little bit of homework, right? Even things like using your into darkness, like that helps a lot too. Shad has the best dark sight in the game, right? So that's like a very good bonus to the class as well. It's very good at training as well. I think I'm gonna put Shad at the top though. To be, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm gonna put it at the top, but under the contingency that you have to do a little bit of homework to learn it. Because like, if you really just press Sonic Blow and like you don't know what you're doing and you don't use your trick blades and you don't know how to like weave properly, like. No, I don't know. I literally said that at the start. I said like I can't think of any other reason, anything potentially bad about Shad besides it has a little bit of learning curve. Like that's it. That's the only thing that I could think of that's like potentially like somewhat worth mentioning. But everything else about Shad is crazy. Like, its damage is insane. Everything else is crazy. All right, TB. So I actually think TB is a pretty good mule. Let me pull up a video on Thunderbreaker. I actually think it's a pretty good mule. The only thing about Thunderbreaker is it's very spammy. That's like the only thing I have to say about it. But I think its damage is fine. I think its DPS is fine. It doesn't really have it burst though. But it doesn't really matter. Like, its damage is fine. There's that. Thunderbreaker has really good movement, has good survivability. Its DPS is fine. It's just very, very spammy. That's the only thing with Thunderbreaker. It's just very spammy. That's the only issue with it. No, this is not pre-rework. But yeah, I honestly think it's fine. Like, I think it's good just because it has good DPS, but I don't think it's Poggy. I think the Poggy classes, like, they have a little bit of an extra, like they have a good burst too or something like that. But I think it's fine. I think Thunderbreaker is perfectly fine. All right, Wild Hunter. This is I hate this class so much. But I hate this class so much, but at the end of the day, like, objectively, it's not a bad mule. It's really not. No, this is Wild Hunter. Still waiting on your Wild Hunter C-Type boss mule. I never had to do that. I literally never had to do that. Yeah, so Wild Hunter has it has some good short cooldown hitting skills. It has 2-minute burst, which isn't bad. 2-minute burst is obviously preferred over 3-minute or when you're doing a boss mule. It's a hurricane class, so you don't have to worry about attack speed. It has sharp eyes, so you don't have to worry about that. The damage, it doesn't matter. This guy's just weak or something. But you have to look at that class's kit. That's the more important thing. It has a pretty good iframe too, actually, with Wild Hunter. I think Wild Hunter is just fine. Like, I don't think it's like too exceptional, but it's a good boss mule. Okay, Wind Archer. Wind Archer is crazy. This class is crazy. Oh, nah. Neji. Wind Archer is crazy. Wind Archer is crazy. This class is like if Marksman and BowMaster like got put together. That's what this is. Like, it also has a dummy that makes it so easy. It's unkillable with your Gale Barrier. It's literally a Hurricane class with sharp eyes. So, like, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's super simple to play. Super simple to play. Its mobbing is so good. Look, there's the dummy. There's the dummy. Like, it's so easy. It has very good movement with its Wind Walk. This class is so free. Very easy node funding. If you look at the node funding. Wind Archer's a 10 class. Very easy. Xenon. Let's look at Xenon. Look at Xenon. So,
little bit.
just looking at this, looking at this with Xenon, you can see how many skills this guy is missing. And when you're at 220 with New Age, you still have one more node slot. But you could see, even with that extra node slot, you could see all these skills that he's missing. So you're missing a large part of your damage just because of the nature of this class. It just needs a lot of skills for it to be good. Since it's a pirate and a thief, you're going to have both common skills as well. So you're going to need things like Dice and Last Resort and Overdrive. Like, you're going to need a lot of skills on this. Yes, Xenon did improve, of course, because of New Age, but it's still more. It's still more. You have to charge your own Mega Blaster, right? Thief with no dark sight. Yep. Xenon's a strong class. Like, as a main, like, it is a strong class. But as a 220 mule, I really don't recommend it at all, bro. Like, I really don't recommend it at all. The funding is too much on it. The requirement, like, the funding requirement is too much on Xenon. 14. That's a big one, bro. That's a big one. But I really would not recommend it as a boss mule, bro. I'm going to put it at the bottom with whack. All right, and then the last one is 0. So let's look at the 0 nodes. Am I blind? 0 is a 10, so 10 is pretty good. 10 is pretty good. Move this here. There's no sound in this video. 0 has really, really good survivability as well. It has very, it pretty much can't die. Like, this class is insane in terms of survivability. It has its own bind, right? So, like, the bosses always just, like, won't move around that much. Its damage has increased quite a lot since it came out. It used to be pretty weak, but it's actually pretty good now. Its damage is actually pretty good now. So I would actually recommend playing this class. It's also very, very fun. Its training is really easy, too. Its training is really, really easy, too. It has Gigabind, yeah. So I honestly think, where would you guys put 0? I think it's good. Yeah, you have to do the story, though. Yeah. Need to practice combos. It does have a learning curve, but it's not that hard though. Like, I've talked to zero mates before. Like, it's not that hard. What makes Demon Slayer bad? The funding requirement's too high with the nodes. It's way too high with the nodes. That's why it's not recommended. Make everything in the top tier. This is just strictly efficiency wise. Let me make this clear. I've made this clear so many times. At the end of the day, you can make any class you want and it'll kill the bosses. But everything, in my opinion, good and higher, like, they're gonna perform, right? Even some of the things that not so good, like, if you fund it and, like, you want to play it, like, it'll get the job done. You know what I mean? It's just not recommended that much in terms strictly efficiency wise. Meaning, like, your time, your money, your investment that you're going to put into it, it's just not, like, perfect. What other 2 to 3 are going to cap out crystals? Okay, so besides these 9, I would definitely do DB. DB is definitely up there as well. I would put in Lara as well. I think Lara is so good. And then, I mean, I guess the rest is, like, preference. Like, if it was me, I had to choose one of these, I would probably choose probably Dark Knight, I guess. Like, it's basically like another DB. How in the heck is Nightler Poggy? Dude, Nightler's changed a lot. It's actually really good. Like, if you were to if you had to choose 12, I would put Aran a tier higher. Keep it explore session is something like cash up, yeah. But that's just my opinion. Like, I would do Dark Knight because I think this playstyle is fine for me. I'm trying to think again. Still giga expensive. The only thing you really have to max out is your throwing star barrage. That's it. Or like your spread throw. Everything else you could keep at lower level. Why is it giga expensive? Send DB up a tier. Right now for like a hyperburn boss meal. Dude, I honestly think NL's good at 220. I'm not even trolling. I honestly think it's really good. All right, we'll move DB up one. There you go. We'll DB up one. This is burst relies on the trios, need spread throw, and throw blasting max. You don't need throw blasting max. That's the thing. Throw blasting, it's 63 tags no matter what, whether it's level 1 or level 25. It's the same. I'm saying Nightlord, if you go DPS build on Nightlord, it's not that bad anymore. Like if you prio like Shuriken, if you prio Shuriken and Dark Lord's Omen, like it does a lot of damage. It literally does a lot of damage. The tags last for like 2 minutes too. What's the pros for DB? I mean, its nodes are pretty easy. Has a really high damage, a lot of built-in crit rate and IED as well. Its training hits pretty hard. I had nothing but complain about my Nether until it was literally one bursting everything. That took forever to get to that point. How long ago was that though? DB puppet. Like right before New Age. Yeah, but Nightlord is so favored for slime. Like that's not that fair. Nightlord is so favored for that boss. Like it's like made for that boss. Slime's completely different. All right, you know what? I'll both give you guys what you want. I'll move Nightlord down one. That's fine. I'll give you guys both what you want. That's fine. Like it's not that big of a deal to me. Like Nightlord, regardless, I was teetering between these two. And then DB, I was teetering between these two anyways. Like it's not that big of a deal. So it's fine. I think this is fine for 220 boss mule. At the end of the day, like, you know, if you came into this and you like missed a lot of the explanations and stuff like that, just go back in the video or go back in the VOD and like listen to what I was saying. This will be a video. I'm gonna try to upload it tomorrow because it is obviously for pretty late today. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? WL, if you're rated out of 10, what would you rate it? You guys could be honest. You could tell me I'm a complete idiot if you want. Like,
A little
that's
bit,
fine.
little bit.
So I tried my best to try and be like as objective as possible, right? Like I went by the node count. I pulled up videos on the classes. I've played a lot of these classes. I've asked people in the chat who do play these classes. Like I've tried my best to keep it as objective as possible. There's no tier list out there that's perfect. That's 100% objective. But I tried my best, okay? So Hoyoung gotta be at least good. The thing is with Hoyoung, like I've played it. I've played it at legit 220, and I don't think it's that good at 220. Like I really don't think it's that good at 220. You're a Hoyoung main. Guys, also like, yeah, like for mains it's completely different. It's for mains it is absolutely completely different. Like it is completely different if you're a main. Like this list is completely different if you're a main. I really like I think alright besides Demon Slayer, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna edit in the videos for the early classes. Yeah, I will. Corsair could bad because of the nodes. Yes, Corsair's damage isn't. First of all, its damage isn't that high, and the nodes are very high, cost as well. So there's those two things. Main release next. When Phil comes back from China, I'm gonna ask him. Yeah, this is boss mule. It says that at the top of the screen right here. Boss mule materials level 220. I'm texting my brother to see if he left. There's 250 boss for Mihile. It's too high on the list. No, Mihile's crazy. Like at 220. You have to compare things at 220. not like at 250. At 250, Mihile, a lot of classes get better than Mihile. Give the subs exclusive JPEG download. You could literally just screenshot the screen if you want. Like, what? Hide it? I'm gonna call my brother. No, my older brother. All right, we're probably gonna leave a bit soon with him. The Avenger Poggy? Yeah, it is. It is. Like it literally is. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of the classes in this game are fine. Like most of them are fine. Yeah. But if you guys have any questions, ask now. Like I'm open for questions until I have to go. If you have questions about anything, like what my reasoning was for anything. Why Bishop low tier? So Bishop, the way the class works is a lot of its skills scale up with int, right? And when you're a boss move, you don't have that much int, so a lot of its skills are just trash because it doesn't have a lot of int. Bishop is one of those classes that is very, very good at endgame because you're very, very strong. It also needs a lot of buff duration because of the way Infinity works, which gives it a lot of its damage. And when you're doing a 220 boss meal, a lot of the time you don't, it's not like you have like 9k Legion to back it up, right? So that's why Bishop isn't that good. I always thought Paladin was right, especially with the ID debuff and ease of use. No, Paladin's damage off burst is very low. So as a boss mule, most of your damage is off burst damage. So it's not that good for this. Even though its survivability is really good and its burst is really good, off burst is not that good for 220 boss mule. If you had your choice, what would be your first boss mule on Hyperion? Nightwalker, probably. Probably Nightwalker. $22k stat is so much for a boss meal. It's so much. Like, that's so much. Why FP isn't higher? It's because of the nodes. A mix of nodes and a mix of needing buff duration. BAM deserves to be higher. Its off burst is not that good. Its off burst on BAM is not that good. Dual blade boost node pool 15. Let me check. Yeah, it's 15, but you can get away with not doing that though on DB. Why is Khali not at the top of the list? Even though Khali is a baddie, unfortunately her micro management on her class makes her a little too difficult to play for most players, and the amount of effort it takes to get her damage out there is not worth it. There will be a YouTube video, yeah. Yeah, the node sheet is a command. Yeah. What is it? Node sheet? Node cost? What is it? Node count. Node count. Okay. Nothing like the regulars. Is it worth using identity symbols on arcane symbols at all? Just use them on sack. Can you quickly explain your choices for all the classes in Poggy? Okay, so basically everything in Poggy has good DPS and is easy enough to play and has good funding. Like, it's a mixture of like good funding, good DPS, pretty good burst, high DPS uptime, good survivability. Like, it's pretty good at everything, but they're not like exceptional. They're not like super OP at those things. That's why each class is in Poggy. They're pretty good at everything, but they're not necessarily exceptional at anything. Besides Merc, I guess. Merc has really good burst. But yeah. Bossies are much less relevant with fraggies? No, not at all. You have to think like... You have to think further ahead than that. Eventually, we're not going to need fraggies anymore. Meso is Meso. Like, at the end of the day, this game comes down to Mesos. Like, that's what it always comes down to. It comes down to Mesos. And Boss Mules give you mesos. Don't Demon Slayer and Dual Blade have a very similar node situation? The difference with Demon Slayer is you actually need to level up the Demon Slayer skills pretty high for it to be good. Like Demon Awakening requires high level because it affects its duration. Why is FP in Gudge? Because it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It has good damage. Has good training. The funding is so-so, like with the buff duration requirement and the nodes. Band burst is 40 seconds though, so for half burst and full burst, you're only off burst 50% of the time. Condemnation also helps a ton with off burst. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. I'm fine with Band being in either good or not so good. Like I'm not. These aren't like set in stone positions. Like I like a lot of classes like they teeter on the edge of like either one. 50% of the time, yeah. How many trios does Kaiser need? Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 2 sets. Why CM whack? You need to like min-max pretty hard on CM, like your actual like DPS output, because CM's damage, a lot of it isn't like guaranteed hit. Like you can miss your bullets if you don't know what you're doing, or you could like boss gets out of the way like Lotus's purple or something, and then you're like pool maker doesn't even like do anything. So there's a lot of like micro on this class, and all of that for like no damage. I give you the follow. Dynamic boss crystals, how do you think boss records will change? Well, with dynamic bossing, we're going to be looking at more 260 boss mules, like classes that have 6 job. So it's just completely different. Like if it's dynamic crystals, like we're going to be looking at like, okay, Lomian plus performance much more than CRA and HMAG performance, for example. We're going to be looking at like higher tier stuff. So it's just completely different. Like, for example, Xenon will go way up. Xenon will go way up if we're doing, like, dynamic crystals, for example. Like, Xenon will go up way higher. No. It's not ordered left to right. No. The reason why Mihile is not that good because it doesn't really have a 90-second mini burst, and you would lose Royal Guard stacks between bosses. It definitely should be lower on that tier list. Dude, I honestly don't think so. I don't think so. It doesn't need to have a 90-second burst for it to be like that crazy. BowMaster doesn't have a 90-second burst. $260 boss material list? Yeah, I do. Making it even harder for normies with dynamic boss crystals. Yeah, but we're not. Let me make this clear. There's absolutely no confirmation or inclination that we're gonna get dynamic boss crystals anytime soon whatsoever. It is completely based off speculation and people just basing it off literally nothing. Let me make that clear. Like, there's we could get it. I'm not saying we'll never get it. I'm just saying we could get it, but there's no reason to think that we'll get it anytime soon. It's based off of nothing. I'm gonna say is FP requires a lot of nodes like DS, and it's harder to play, plus high legion requirement. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. I think FP's damage is better than DS though. Its damage is better than DS though. Like it has better short cooldown hits than DS. I disagree. That's fine. Being a DPM class makes it way faster during weeklies. Come Kain so low. Oh, thank you for the follow, by the way. 2-minute burst class with decent damage. Off burst. I don't think it's that low. I think good is perfectly fine. I don't think it's that low. I think it's a good class. I don't really have anything bad to say about Kain that much. I think Demon Slayer is too reliant on nodes. Demon Awakening, when you're off Demon Awakening, this class it's so bad. Like, it's really not that good when you're off Demon Awakening. To be fair, Demon Awakening lasts I think 62 seconds, which is a pretty good amount of time, but off Demon Awakening it's not good, and it's hard to get those trios. You could go a scuff setup though to make it a little bit better though. When off peak infinity, yeah, you're right. When you're off peak infinity, but you still have your combo with the 2 V skills. Like, that's still good damage, even without peak infinity. And you don't necessarily need to, like, you shouldn't be basing FP's damage just strictly off of peak infinity. Like, you're not at peak infinity most of the time. I have 21 Dom pendant. Is it worth to transfer hammer into a sub pendant? I have 3 Doms. If you're okay with leaving the sub pendant at 20, that's fine. Yeah, you still gain a lot of damage from having a 20-star sub pendant. I think you can have infinity uptime even with unique buff duration IA. The thing is with buff duration is you could just get the first line. You could just get the first line 50%. Like, the first line 50% adds a lot of damage, and it's not that hard to roll. You don't have to go for like 1 attack speed and buff. You could just get the first line 50%. I don't think Demon Slayer is that good as a 220 boss mule because of the high node requirement and the low damage off Demon Awakening. And you would ideally want attack speed in her. You don't have to get attack speed on DS, but you ideally would want it. I don't know anything about Lumi. So with Lumi, I concluded that its only really relevant V skill is Conduit because it has a short cooldown. Liberation Orbs and Baptism have a long cooldown, so you're not using them that much like on burst with Lumi. It also needs the attack speed and buff duration. It's one of those classes that benefits from both a lot. Like, if you run the first one, the 50%, you're cucking your damage quite a bit because this class really does need attack speed because of the Ender procs and Equilibrium, right? And then if you only run attack speed, it's really hard to get the 38 buff, so your buff duration doesn't last. So your Equilibrium doesn't last that long anyways. So Lumi, I feel like it just needs too much. It needs too much to be really good. Pros for DB. Good IED, good survivability, good training, easy to play, good crit rate, short cooldown, big hitting skills. DS doesn't use attack speed in her? Wait, really? Am I stupid? Am I really wrong? Am I wrong about that? I thought DS needed it. Oh, really? Oh my god, why didn't anybody say anything? I thought I needed attack speed. What the hell? Oh my god. That actually changes things because the attack speed was like a big reason why I didn't really like it that much. All right, let's not push a little too much to say it's an insane mule. I don't think it's an insane 220 mule. I'll move it up though. I think it's good. I think it's definitely good. I think it's worth putting in good now. I gotta sneeze. Expedition level. I think it's low. Mine is not. It's at 56. 56. Thank you. I think Bam's off burst isn't that good. And its burst is a long burst too, so chances are you're going to miss a lot of your burst while going in between bosses. If we all had infinite nodes, Demon Slayer's position that less shows up like crazy but costs so much. Oh, I agree. I think if people Like if Demon Slayer is like properly funded, it's one of the best mules. But most people don't go that. Don't have that. They don't have that. I agree. Like Demon Slayer's V skills are all so crazy. Like all of them. Sometimes it's hard to put your mind in like a real struggle like 220er, bro. Like I've reset my account like 100 million times. Like, yo, it's a struggle, bro, to get like OD nodes and shit. Movie is necessary to master for up to end Lomian. Easy nodes, 2 iframes, 100% super sense always. Oh yeah, I agree. Aran is good. Aran is good. Yeah, I play in Hyperion forever, yeah. I think Aran was one of the classes that I was like, oh, we could go back to it. We could go back to it later when I was doing it. I can move it up, that's fine. Yeah. Because Aran is very strong. Like if you go back to the part I was talking about, I'm like, yeah, it's very, very strong. Chronos misses you. Y'all act like there's a difference. Like who's Chronos misses you? Like what are you talking about? Y'all act like there's any difference of whether I play in Hyperion or Chronos. Like what changes? What changes? Literally what changes? Nothing changes. Thank you to my amazing members, Scuffed, Blazefire, Shooms, DVI Dan, Uju, Shagad, Relver, Ravi, Grim4K, and Koga. You guys are the goats.